something makes you happy, you are successful. If you are making someone happy, you are successful. This is a happy world, you are largely successful. The single most important advice would be to start loving your work. The more the number of challenges, it should really egg you on to kind of, yes, so bring on more challenges, I'm ready for it kind of. There are so many things that an officer can control even on the first day of his joining. You can never choose your boss.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Mr. Vinamra MIshra. He is an officer belonging to Indian Railway Service of Mechanical Engineering, Government of India. He has worked both as a leader and team player on cross-functional teams in areas of operations, project management, macro engineering, sustainable asset management and human resource optimization and welfare. He has been anchoring all externally aided programs of ministry with multilateral organizations like World Bank, ADB, KFW, AIIB, NDB, UNIDO, GIS, etc. for over 8,000 million USD. These are aimed at improving competitiveness of MSMEs and institutional architecture of MoMSME. He has also been Nodal Officer for flagship programs of Ministry for Technological Upgradation with the Zero Defect, Zero Effect Scheme, Digital MSME, Incubation Scheme, IPR Scheme, Design MSME and Lean Manufacturing Program for MSMEs. It's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Vinamra MIshra to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much.
So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share on our show.
Like any other child growing up in the country in the 1980s and 90s, my childhood also was a very, very happy one. And my father was posted with the UP state government and it was a transferable job. So we used to hop on to different places in the UP state. And I remember my father getting posted to Sitapur, to Lucknow, to small places like Azamgarh. So they were all very, very small place, but yes, very, very strong and very, very happy childhood memories growing up in Uttar Pradesh and a lot of good memories, good friends who are now doing very, very well and nothing in particular. There were so many school friends, school memories. Yeah, but overall it was a very, very happy childhood, as I said, and really something to kind of, once you try to dwell back and think back, you really want to go back to your childhood again. So that was that kind of a childhood and we had a lot of fun and I had a small sister also, so it was a lot of sibling rivalry also. So yes, so it was a very, very happy memories as far as I'm concerned.
So tell us about your educational background, schooling and higher education.
My father was moving all around the state of Uttar Pradesh, so my schooling was done in bits and pieces in Varanasi. Then my father was posted in Sitapur, so I studied for a few years in Sitapur. Then longish part of that education from say class 2nd to class 8th, I was in Azamgarh. So it's a small place in eastern UP, but a very vibrant one and we had a very, very good school. So that was one. Then after class 8th, in class 9th, my father was posted in Lucknow. And that was the business end of, so to say, because the board exams and all these competitions, pre-professional colleges competitions. So we were posted in Lucknow. So I was then admitted into City Montessori School in Lucknow. And in class 10th and class 12th, I was there. I passed out from City Montessori School, Kanpur Road branch. And one memory was that we were shifted to this new building. I was made the first head boy of that school. So that was it. Class 12th onwards, I qualified into all engineering colleges in my first attempt itself, IIT Roorkee and Motilal Nehru, and also qualified for the special class railway apprentice examination through the UPS. And I did well in the board exams and I also qualified for Olympiad and NTSC. Then professional education came through SCRA. And SCRA, you do mechanical engineering through BIT Mishra, so Birla Institute of Technology Mishra, Ranchi. And then you also, within these semester breaks, you are taught railway engineering. It's a mix of mechanical engineering through a core curriculum at BIT Mishra. And a railway, bits and pieces of railway engineering through the workshop technology and railway working. And then in 2003, I joined services. Professional life started after.
So what was your dream profession as a child and when did it strike your mind that you want to be an officer?
There's this sports bug within me, and so I always wanted to become a cricketer, some sports person, maybe a footballer or a cricketer. And as I told you, we were in Lucknow in class 9th, and I got selected in one of those summer camps at UPCA, Uttar Pradesh Cricket Academy. And that was the time when the decision was to be taken, whether to take that cricket line or continue with the acads, because that was the critical time, because you were in class 9th, and then the entire education business, and as I said, of education was staring at me. And I was pretty okay at cricket also, but then that decision was taken that no, we have to concentrate more on acads, and then maybe just bits and pieces of sports here and there. And so then everything took its own turn, because again, as growing up, if you are good, after class 10th you take sciences. If you are a boy, you take maths. If you are a girl, you take biology. If you are taken maths, you go on to become an engineer. And if you've taken bio, then you become a doctor. So that typical 1980s, 90s childhood in India, where you are successful if you are an engineer or a doctor, and then maybe you can take it from there. So that's what it is. But then I never regretted being an engineer. There are a lot of good things which an engineer can do for the nation. Working with the railways, the largest organization in the country, is really, you've got so many chances to work for the country. After, on my deputation, I've come to Minister of MSME. This is more of a managerial and financial, techno-financial kind of a job. But then I'm loving it also.
So when I say college, any particular memory that strikes your mind?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one, because SCRA, Special Class Railway Apprentice, it's a very old, a very traditional kind of an institution. When we were selected, let me go on record that it is the most difficult exam one can ever imagine in Indian setup in UPSC, because our time in 1998, when we took this exam, there were about 108,000 applicants who took the exams, and we were a batch of 8 only who were finally selected. But then we were not sure as to where this place Jamalpur was. So in fact, this never struck that I would actually be making this exam and we will be required to go to Jamalpur. We took out the atlas. There was no Google Maps those days. So we took out an atlas from my class 10th bunch of books. We searched where this place Jamalpur was. So it was somewhere south of Patna. And then I was given a railway pass also. That was something which was really a great kick to have, because you were traveling all the time in second class and sleeper classes. And here I was, who was given a railway pass to go on in the second AC and join the institute. So we were all thrilled. But my father and mother told me that you go alone, you build your own space, and kind of you will be on your own. So let us start from this space itself, and you go on your own and go to. So that was the first time I went eastwards. I had gone to Delhi and maybe some other places in Lucknow, but that was the first time I ventured into Bihar, so to say. And then when we went there, Jamalpur was such a beautiful place, and but then there was this strong tradition of working very, very hard in the initial few months. And the seniors really took good care of us, so to say. And it was almost like a military kind of a training that started. We were told that we are going to get into the railway structure, railway system, where you have to be very fit to be able to carry out your job. And so we were all started getting into that great loop of becoming fit and things like that, getting into sports. So I was so shell-shocked, because all 8 of us were all into acads. We were all very bright students. We never really imagined that we'll have to make our health and do so much things on our fitness and things. So I just forgot to call back my home that I have safely reached. And then there was a lot of pandemonium back home, that what has happened to my child. The parents became very apprehensive as to what would have happened to me. So, but then they contacted the institute, and maybe after 72 hours or maybe 4th day of my arrival in Jamalpur, they could actually contact me that I was pretty much there and safe and sound and going through the rigors. So that was a very, very interesting one. And there were so many beautiful memories while I was in college and my training period.
So in training, ragging happens or not?
That niche word should not be discussed in so much of detail, but yes, it's not called ragging. So Jamalpur was an institute which was established in 1927, and Gaurav, let me tell you that since 1927 I was the 946th SCA to have joined in 1999. So that was this select group of people. You imagine one very important, very, very interesting trivia about Jamalpur, that the students used to come even before independence. So one school which has the maximum number of attendance, maximum number of kids selected into SCRA was Government High School Lahore, which to this date is the school which has sent maximum number of kids into SCRA. In the pre-independence era, we had people from Pakistan, also undivided India, also coming there and taking the railway engineering courses and going on to lead railways in Pakistan and Bangladesh later. So, but that was the tradition of that place, and we were really thrilled later. It was taken with a pinch of salt, a lot of this health making and ragging stuff. But then we realized that it all falls into that great tradition of that place, and that tradition has to be kept in hand. So that was it, and we were really fortunate to be trained in that institution, and a lot of personality building and public speaking and managing the staff, managing crisis. And also a lot of personality development in terms of sports and reading and culture and music. So everything happened there. So let us not shorten the domain of that training by saying that is a ragging, but it's all in good spirit. And to that extent, I would say that I was a very, very ardent ragger after that because I also wanted my juniors to get that tradition and get to doing well. So that was it.
So what about your hobbies and interests?
As I said, that sports bucket still haunts me, and I'm really into sports. During services also, I've been into sports administration. And right from my junior scale days, I've been given one or the other responsibility of sports, whether it is the assistant divisional sports officer starting with, then general secretary of the sports divisions. And then also I was heading, while I was in Northern Railway as deputy GM for 5 years in Delhi. From 2015 to 20, I was also the overall secretary of the Northern Railway Sports Association, and there we could make a lot of improvement as far as the sports culture was concerned. The Bajrang Punias, the Vinesh Fogats, the Ravi Dayas, they were all recruited by us while I was there in Northern Railway, and I still enjoy a lot of good rapport with all these sportsmen who brought laurels to the country. And so that is one, and I also play a lot of sports. So whether it is outdoor, I'm into cricket, I'm into badminton, squash, tennis, billiards, snooker. So you name a sport and I'm there. So sports has really kept me in good shape. Also into culturals, I have acted, I have sung songs, I keep singing. So yeah, so these are the things that interest me.
So who was your inspiration in your early childhood?
My Mama ji, who was the only engineer in our family, and went on to become the member of the railway board. He was the torch bearer, so to say, for our family, and he was the first one to have qualified into Motilal Nehru Engineering College in the 70s. And we used to look up to him, not only as wanting to become an engineer like him, but also wanting to go into railways. So he was he also qualified UPSC and Indian Engineering Services examination, and was allotted the Indian Railway Store Services. Growing up, he was the inspiration, but my inspiration also are my parents. Definitely, wherever there is a lot of things where I want to fall back upon, or maybe some course correction where I need to discuss few things, I still consult my parents, and whatever they kind of direct me or they guide me. Professional inspiration, you may say that it was my Mama ji, but my inspiration are my parents.
So what was the reaction of your parents when you told them, okay, now I have been selected as an officer?
It's a dream for all of us to get into with a class 1 group A services job, and my parents got emotional also, and there were a lot of happy scenes in the family, and so many people called us, and it took a lot of time before it really sunk in that yes, it has really happened, and we were really happy. And but then I was also told that you will be going to a place of authority and somewhere where almost at places where you are autonomous and to your own, you have to hold the topmost level of financial propriety and integrity. So that was something which was told initially immediately after I got selected. So that was something which I still carry with me, and those words have really kept me in good stead so far.
So where did you started your career journey from?
Career started from the coal capital of India, which is Dhanbad. And yes, it is again very interesting because I was from Varanasi and I was allotted the East Central Railway. And East Central Railway stretches from Mughal Sarai to Patna and to Dhanbad. So on that Delhi-Howrah line, if you start from Mughal Sarai, you go to Patna or Gaya and up from Dhanbad onto Asansol. That is the stretch of East Central Railway. So I was pretty happy because Mughal Sarai, you just have to cross a bridge and you are into Varanasi. So I was very happy, and I reported to my higher ups and I requested everyone to please kindly post me to Mughal Sarai, because Mughal Sarai is, I'll be posted in Mughal Sarai. I'll be very close to my family, and so it will be very, very nice. So as things happened, I was selected for the Director General's Medal. I topped my probation exam amongst all the induction program, which is all the probationary officers they together take in the Railway Staff College in Vadodara. So I topped that exam. So I was called for getting that DG's medal, Director General's medal. So I reported and took my passes and went to Baroda to take that medal. And when I returned, my orders for Dhanbad were ready instead of Mughal Sarai. So that came as a shocker. I went to my chief mechanical engineer to ask me, sir, this is my medal, sir. I topped my probation. I really wanted to work near my hometown. Why did you post me to a place called Dhanbad? I've never been to that place, and that place, and you had that option of posting me to Mughal Sarai. So told me that if you're away from your home, you'll be able to dedicate a lot of your energies to profession only. And these are the first few years, the harder you put in your service, they are going to take you throughout your service span. So that was something which was really prophetic, and I joined Dhanbad and I never looked back. In fact, Dhanbad became such an important city for me, because during my initial posting itself, I got married in a place called Bokaro, which is very close to Dhanbad. So Dhanbad kind of also was a life changer moment for me, and Dhanbad gave me such professional cutting edge. It was the second highest loading, it still is the second highest loading division in the country. So it was a very, very, very wonderful experience, though a lot of area of Dhanbad was left-wing extremist hit area. All these Naxalites were there. And back then in 2003, 2005, 2004, 6, it was really bad. A lot of groups were very, very active. That was the toughest part. In fact, you actually fear for your life once you are there and working on the sections and doing these train restorations. You really feared for your life at times, but then that makes you strong. And then those are the important takeaways, because apart from professional excellence, this is something you've handled LWEs. So it is a very, very good thing on your CV also. Right? So with all these professional milestones comes handling the LWEs also. So that was it. It was a very, very good one.
So how was your early days as an officer, and were you homesick because you were away from your home?
Usually the people who've done engineering, they've already are used to leaving their homes. And as I told, I was away from the home for 4 years. So I really wanted to be near my home during my first posting. Also to be able to give back to my community as an officer was also in my mind. But then I realized that even if you're away from, if you're giving back to the community in any place, it is kind of serving the nation. So that was something which was very, very, it was quickly clarified in my mind once I got posted in Dhanbad. And initial days were tough because those time, incidentally, it happened that UPSC was taking very few number of very small batches in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. So what had happened, in an entire division, it happened that you are the only class 1 officer there. In the junior scale, you are the only one. And then there are people who are in the J grade and higher up there, the people who are the head of departments, they are there. But then in the junior scale, you are the only group A officer. So this had happened in Dhanbad for me. So I was the only young officer in the junior scale. So my DRM gave me responsibility of the sports also, of the club also, of the culture also. I was the assistant Hindi officer also. So all these things, all these challenges, all the responsibility were put onto me. And then the challenge began because you were trying to learn a lot of things in your specific domain, and all these peripheral activities are also attached to you. So it really helped you grow in a very all-round kind of a manner. As my CME had told me, those initial, if you are able to put a lot of initial work into in the initial years, you are in good stead in the future. That was prophetic, and I was given a lot of responsibility. I could really deliver to all the expectations, and then life went on to the next level. I was in my very first year, I was given the zonal managers award. Subsequently, I got 3 other zonal awards and 1 national award while working in Dhanbad only. The national award was was working in 2011. I was the head of department of the rolling stock there, and we could pull off a lot of positive activities towards improving the loading of that division. So I was conferred the national award in 2011. So it was all because of these initial grillings and initial responsibility that was put on to me.
So what all challenges did you face post becoming an officer initial days, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Initial days are always very critical for an officer. There are few things you don't have any control of. And in the initial period also throughout the career, the bosses are very, very important. While you can choose your subordinate, the people who are reporting to you to some extent, but you can never choose your boss. So all the officers who are joining in the initial period of their career, you have to take this thing out of your mind that you can really choose your boss. The boss cannot be chosen. So this is again a part of your growing up as an officer, is to kind of be very clear as to what your boss expectation out of you are, as far as the professional thing is concerned. And then as far as personal thing is concerned, if you are reasonably motivated by that officer of yours, who's your higher up, then you can really get into a lot of personal interaction and personal synergy with that officer. If you think, I don't approve of his personal ways, or maybe some ethical ways or integrity ways, so you can always, the system is such that you can always keep those things at an arm's hand and continue having your own niche into the system, and you can hold your own and not interact on the personal and on these levels with your higher up. So you can take whatever is good from your senior, from your immediate boss, and you can decide also not to take what you don't want out of him. But then you have to manage him, because this is something which has been given to you by the bureaucratic channel is so you have to adjust to the requirements of the boss. But then you can really, as I said, you can really hold your own as far as these personal and integral things are concerned. Even at times you would feel that the boss is unreasonable. He's trying to really be sadist and take a lot of your free time away from you. But actually maybe he has put you on that learning curve mode. So if he wants to make you realize that these are the initial days, you have to learn a lot. So give him benefit of doubt, and then a lot of things will be simplified. Once you give benefit of doubt to your boss on various things would get very, very simple, because then you say that yes, he's doing this because he has seen it all, and then let me give this benefit of doubt to him. And there is also one very important phrase that I use: good begets good. So if you're good, you will beget good. So you will get good juniors, you'll get good seniors. You have to be good yourself. And if the boss is not so good, your goodness would kind of look to win that not so good thing in the boss and make him good as per your expectations. So good begets good करके रखना है, and वो थ्योरी काम करती है. अगर आप अच्छे हैं तो आपको शॉर्ट टर्म में भले थोड़े से बैड एक्सपीरियंसेस हो सकते हैं, but eventually it will be all good.
So how was your shift from Indian Railway to MSMEs?
Yeah, it was a very important and interesting one, and I had put in about close to 17 years of service into railways. And then in fact we discussed in our family and again my parents, and then we decided that yes, that time was the time when the pandemic had struck, and you would realize that these MSMEs, the smallest of the small businesses, were struck the most, because they have little margin to play with. They have got limited margins and they've got small profit margins. So that was really struck because the demand was frozen. So demand side was deleted, and a lot of people who had taken loans as working capitals to expand their businesses, they really got the shocker of their life. They were all turning NPAs, and a lot of bad things were happening in the economy of the country. Incidentally, I was selected for MSME. I could have been given any other department by the DOPT, but I was selected for MSME. Based on my CV, DOPT allotted me because I was mechanical engineer and also an MBA. I took an MBA degree also while during the services itself. So this was, they wanted someone with a techno managerial kind of a background to work with all these schemes which are actually technical as far as because a lot of technology centers are working with the in the MSME sector. And there are a lot of managerial and financial management kind of schemes are also there, which are looking to upgrade the finances of the MSMEs. So that was how I got selected into MSME in the Ministry of MSME. And then I was allotted the projects which the ministry is doing with all these multilateral institutions, World Bank and AIIB. And also the flagship schemes of the Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is the zero defect, zero effect, the lean manufacturing, the MSME, digital design, incubation, IPR schemes. So these are all aimed at hand-holding the MSMEs and making them competitive both domestically and globally. And it has been a real learning kind of an experience and a very satisfying experience. I have spent close to about 2 years now, and we have done a lot of good in the sector. And the ministry is also doing well as far as these interventions are concerned. So it has been a very, very welcome change as far as my career is concerned.
So what's that one thing you love about your profession the most?
The fact that you are able to contribute to the system, that really gives you a lot of kick. I personally get a lot of kick being just overwhelmed by the fact that your schemes are catering to so many people. The quantum is huge. Like for example, the zero defect, zero effect. This was a scheme which was aimed at giving quality initiative to the MSMEs. While they improve their quality, their processes should be such that they have zero impact on the environment. So this was the clarion call of our Prime Minister from Lal Killa, that we have to develop something for the MSMEs, which makes them quality conscious, which makes them good in quality, but at the same time adopt greener measures, which make them have zero impact on the environment. And we came up after a lot of deliberations with experts, both international, domestic, and we came up with this zero defect, zero effect scheme. And you would imagine we launched it on 28th of April. On the very first day, we had 3,600 MSME registering into this scheme. And that really underlines the appetite of quality consciousness and the fact that the MSMEs really want to do well, and they want to be supported as far as the quality thing is concerned. So that is something which gives you the kick. So as I said, the quantum of being able to contribute and sheer quantum, sheer numbers, that so just imagine the first day 3,600, and these MSMEs would be catering to about, say, on an average 15 people or maybe 20-30 people who are employed with them, and these 30 on an extended family chain would be catering to about 500 people at their end. The quantum in which we are working, and so the responsibility also increases. So because these schemes have far-reaching effects, so the responsibility also increases. So that onus is also onto you, that this should not be something which is only optics kind of a thing. It has to have real interventions on the ground. So that is something which really inspires me and takes me along as we work along for the MSMEs as well.
So who is your mentor in life?
Professionally, there have been many mentors. I would naming one or two would be doing disservice to others, because as I said, I keep learning even from my Group D, Group C staff also. So somebody told me, I went on a train rake and asked one of the people that how do you test the brake of the rake? So that is something which will be told to you by your Group D, the staff which is on the ground. So he's also kind of helping you understand the entire system. So professionally, I would say that there have been so many good people who have been mentoring me professionally, and every day I keep learning so many professional things from my seniors and from my juniors, people who are subordinate to me, people who are my bosses. But if you say mentoring, as I said, my family as of now, when I was during my school days, before I left my house, it was my parents who were my mentors. And after getting into my service, it is my family, my wife, who is such a strong supportive presence at home, because she has given up all her aspirations and she's now taken up the responsibility of managing my family and my home and my kids, and she has been such a great support for me, and that is why I can turn hours into my professional career. So that support is something which is goes kind of unnoticed, but something which has to be really highlighted. That so if you are able to deliver, because all these things are kind of taken care of them. So they're taking care of themselves, because I don't know how it is happening, but everything is inch perfect once you enter your home. Everything is so good, so fine. It's doing well, and everything is positive. So it keeps you motivated and gives you energy to keep moving ahead and working on. So that is so mentoring. So you would say that my parents were my mentor in the initial period. My wife and my kids are my mentors right now.
So what major difference do you feel in the working culture of Indian Railway and MSME?
Let me tell you, Indian Railways is the largest organization, and the systems are such strong, robust systems which are into being from about 1853 now. So in 2023 would be 170 years of railways. So the systems, anything which is decided in the Ministry of Railways in the morning, you would be very, very sure that by evening it is going to reach the southernmost station in the country, the easternmost station in the country. The far ends of the country would be following that instruction in the railway. So that regimentation, that system is unparalleled as far as railway is concerned. And there is something which is called as fail safe. So if the signal which you can see on the tracks, so if it fails, so it can never get into green zone. If it fails, it is automatically going to be red. So the systems are fail safe there. You are working with so many lives who are traveling with you. You have to work for their safety also. So the systems are fail safe there. The systems are very efficient there. So that is something, the largest organization in the country. I salute Indian Railways that ways. But yes, Ministry of MSME is again something which is dealing with the largest workforce in the country. After agriculture, we are into employing 111 million people. We are into 45% of the Indian exports. We are into 37% of the Indian GDP, 30% of the service GDP, and 8% of the manufacturing GDP. So the impact again is huge. But then it is up to us to support these people. And this is something that we are working on. And so the systems are very much comparable as far as railways and MSME is concerned, but the impact is to that extended different, because that sector is into transportation, and this is service and social development sector. So that is the major difference, and maybe the point of convergence also.
So what was the most challenging task of your professional career?
So I would say only about 5.5 years into active service, I was made the head of department of Dhanbad, and managing 13 freight depots, 6 coaching depots, a staff strength of about 3,700 people directly reporting to you, and 23,000 wagons as wagon holding. And so the quantum was used, and I was in just initial days into the service, and you have to add that LWE thing also into that mix, and that it was the expanse is stretched from West Bengal to Jharkhand to Bihar to Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. So that was the expanse of this division. So it was a real challenge, and I was really a very novice kind of, but having honed my traits initially from Dhanbad division itself, I knew what to expect out of that posting. So within that 3 years, we could really do a lot of things. As I told you, I ended with a national award from those 3 years of service itself. So that was very satisfying, was very challenging, but as you say that it was also very satisfying. It ended on a high, and that was kind of a thing which gave me a fillip to rise. A lot of people stood up and took note that this is a good boy. And so then I was given into a lot of administrative posts also because of that. That was something which was very challenging but very rewarding.
So how would you define success?
Gaurav, I think success would be different for different people. But for me, success is something which makes you happy. If something makes you happy, you are successful. If you are making someone happy, you are successful. If this is a happy world, you are largely successful. I got into services, I got success, I was happy. So I am successful. If you are able to win a game in badminton against your arch rivals, so to say, you are successful. It gives you that happiness. You are successful. So for me, success is something it can have various definitions, different for everyone. But for me, it is something which gives you happiness, and it is all about spreading happiness. So you are successful if you are happy, but if you are happy, you are successful. So that's what.
So you have been nodal officers in many flagship programs of the Ministry of Technological Upgradation. What have been your learning, and which one is your favorite program which you would like to talk about?
One program which was really close to my heart and really is working with all these small kids around the country is the MSME Innovative Program, which is a combination of the design, incubation and the IPR programs. And this is something which calls upon all the kids in the country, all the technology students, all the doctors, engineers, everyone who has a brain between these temples. So you come up with you have an idea. It's almost Shark Tank kind of a thing. So if you have an idea, you think the idea is going to prop up the MSMEs, come to us, get your idea approved, we'll give you 15 lakhs of rupees. We launched this scheme on the 10th of March in 2022 in this revised formulation. And you would imagine in 14 days time, there were about 5,200 ideas which were received. This MSME Idea Hackathon 2022 was such a huge success. There were 5,214 ideas which were received from around the country, which were all directed into some or the other intervention into the MSME sector. And we were really overwhelmed by the quantum of the ideas that had come. And now, once we are now reviewing the ideas as to which ideas to select and which ideas to be given this financial assistance of 15 lakhs. And we are really amazed to see the quality of these ideas. At least say 1,000 of these ideas are really, really good. So this is the innovation, an indication of the innovation index of the country. We have been always a huge leader as far as this grey matter was concerned in the world. We've been leading the world as far as this is concerned. And there has been a lot of brain drain from the country because these grey matter, these cognitive ability was not identified earlier. But now with all these ideas, with all these programs coming into being, if you have an idea, it is really, really a good time to be an innovator in the country at the moment. This scheme is something which is going to help to support and prop up this innovation system. And innovation working with the MSMEs is something which is intervention of this program. So this is another program which is very close to my mind, and I'm very happy to witness this program being taken with both hands by the country. And we are in the process of getting the ideas selected, and you would imagine that close to about 500, 1,000 people getting supported for their ideas. And then there are we have the host institution all over we have about 500 odd host institution, technological institutions who are then going to work with these people to further developing the idea up. So the entire innovation system is going to get that huge shot in the arm with this program. So let us hope for the best, and we would be in a position to say something good about innovation in the country in coming months.
Best of luck for your program. So if you were able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to roll back?
Oh, it's a no-brainer. I would like to go back to my Jamalpur days. It's a no-brainer. And my training days. Those were the best days of my life.
So what all benefit? So you have talked about many benefits that MSME basically provides to companies who are registered under MSME. So in detail, basically, if we talk about, so what all benefit does government provide under MSME, and how can general public get advantage of those benefits?
We've identified that there are various verticals in which the MSMEs need to get intervened on. And the first is the credit side or the finance. The second is the technology side. The third is the trade and the finance receivables, which is something which is due to them, but it is not they're not getting back because of the larger corporates getting into the game, and they're playing games, so to say, with the MSMEs. And then the marketing part is one, and the last is the dispute resolution. So these are the 5 verticals which the ministry is working on, and there are various schemes as far as the financial or the credit side is concerned. There are various schemes as far as the technology upgradation is concerned. Then the ODR, the online dispute resolution, is concerned, and the marketing thing is concerned. So all these programs, there are so many programs with the ministry and our Development Commissioner's Office of MSME. But the thing is, for taking advantage of all these programs, I would, through your medium also, I would like to request all the MSMEs, all the netizens who are there, who know one or the other MSME or the promoter or the owner of MSMEs, to spread this word of registering the MSME through the Udyam registration. So there is this Udyam registration portal, which is going to register your MSME into the system of the ministry. Very, very simple kind of a registration. Like you make your email account, it's like that. So if you are an MSME, you would be having your Aadhaar card, you will be having your PAN card and a few details about your enterprise. And here you go, you are ready with the Udyam Registration. You will get a Udyam registration number and a Udyam registration certificate. Registration certificate is the ticket to all these schemes of the ministry. So I'd request through your medium also that all the MSMEs who are watching, or anyone who is watching who knows about an MSME, they should spread this word that they should register themselves in the Udyam registration, and then the entire bouquet of schemes would be available to you. Your problems should be heard. Your online dispute resolutions would get activated. So single most important advice I would like to give to the MSMEs.
So what are your roles and responsibilities as Director, Technical and Project MSME?
I'm looking after the externally aided projects. I'm looking after the 6 flagship programs. I'm looking after also the general administration, so all the items related to administration in the ministry. And so that is all. And it's been a very, very fruitful tenure so as of now. And working with the multilateral agencies like World Bank, like United Nations, Industrial Development Organization, like AIIB, like KfW of Germany. It's been such a learning experience because all these institutions have their ethics and work culture of their own. And so many good things to learn from all these institutions. So while Indian internal system is also getting more and more efficient with time, onset of or the collaboration with these multilateral institutions is again going to help the entire system get a lot of efficiency back into the system. So it's been a very, very rewarding and a very, very satisfying experience as of now. Let us see.
So what advice would you like to give to new officers?
The single most important advice would be to start loving your work. If you are passionate about something you are doing, then you are going to do well in that. And once you're going to do well in that, it is going to give you a lot of satisfaction, which is going to make you happy and make you successful. As my success mantra is, you have to start loving your job, and success would come automatically. And there would be challenges off and on. There would be challenges on short term or maybe long term basis. But then the fact that you are an officer is because of these challenges. And if there would have been no challenges, the requirement of officers would not have been there. So you are an officer, you are there to handle these challenges. And the more the number of challenges, it should really egg you on to kind of, yes, so bring on more challenges. I'm ready for it kind of an mood. So we are here in the system to tackle these challenges, and everything should not be very, very rosy. So if it is rosy, you would not be in a position to feel the fruit of success if you are not overcoming the hardships, so to say. So you should not shy away from your responsibilities. Keep loving your job. And initially, as I said, you cannot choose your boss. So you cannot choose your boss, but then there are a lot of things which you can manage. Even if on a day one, the system takes care of the officers on day one itself, and there are so many things that an officer can control even on the first day of his joining. So that is something which the officer should be very, very clear of, that the system has really given him authority and power on day one itself. So you have to realize of whatever you have in your hand, and then maybe build on the authority and responsibility there.
So what all are do's and don'ts you would suggest for students who are preparing for IRMS?
Do's and don'ts का तो यही है कि you have to be regular, you have to be sincere, you have to have a proper guidance in place, you have to have proper reading material in place. And don'ts में तो you have to make sure that you are not fooling anyone. It is very easy to say that you are preparing for IRMS, you're preparing for UPSC, but just making a fool of everyone. So you have to be sincere in your approach. You have to be very, very regular, and success will definitely come.
So now we will start our rapid round.
Okay.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Initially, I loved Amir Khan a lot. Then Farhan Akhtar because he was such multi-talented actor. The recent bunch, I think, ये KGF वाले लोग सब Yash और Rama Rao and Junior and Ram Charan, all these people are good. But actresses, I think, no special choice. I think Alia is good.
Your favorite color?
Yeah, shades of blue. Anything which is blue.
If you need to choose one thing to achieve success, which is smart work, luck, and hard work, which is that one thing you would choose?
Hard work, no doubt about it.
Your favorite destination?
Hills. All hills are similar. There are a lot of similarity in a Manali, in a Gangtok, in a Darjeeling, but I really love them all.
Success in one line?
Happiness. Anything which gives you happiness is success.
Your dream house?
Dream house would be a place where I'm surrounded with all my good well-wishers and my friends. Any place where I'm surrounded with my friends.
So at last, one line that defines you.
A happy man who wants to make everyone happy.
Thank you for your precious time, and it was lovely doing conversation with you and the advices that you have shared on our show. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for having me here, and it was really a pleasure. And the questions were really top class, and I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.